Savannah Chrisley's ex-boyfriend Nick Kerdiles admitted he's struggling with insomnia. This comes on the heels of his split with the sassy Southern beauty. Earlier this year, Nick seemingly confirmed their split. The couple never released public statements on social media this time around. This is interesting considering they confirmed they were back together in August 2021. They even sat down for an exclusive interview about their reunion. Back in March, Nick hinted that their relationship came to an end once again. Even though they worked hard to make it work, they just couldn't make it fit around their busy schedules. Earlier this year, Nick Kerdiles opened up about his suicide attempt. Todd Chrisley, his daughter Savannah, and Nick went live on Instagram to get the record straight. Media outlets like TMZ were in a race to get the story out first. The trio wanted to share with fans what happened before the tabloids and gossip blogs would run with it. Savannah thought it wasn't fair for Nick to have to speak about it so soon. This just adds to the damage of his mental health struggles. The Chrisley Knows best star felt that the best way to handle it was to share his story. Savannah and Todd showed their support for him during the live. Savannah talked about their on and off relationship. However, she still feels he's an important part of her life. Todd is involved with all of his children's relationships. He loves Nick the most out of all of Savannah's former boyfriends. In fact, Nick Kerdiles is still very close with the Chrisley family. The good thing about the breakup is there's no animosity. As TV shows Ace previously reported, Nick went golfing with Chase Chrisley. They both hung out with Marty, the party man Evans. In his latest Instagram post, Nick revealed that it was very much needed. He hasn't had a guy's day in so long. He's been focused on his fitness and his real estate career. Though he's in a good place, he's still dealing with another issue. In the early morning hours of Thursday, April 7, Nick Kerdiles took to his Instagram stories to share an update with his fans. He admitted that he was struggling with insomnia. The former NHL player wrote, "Insomnia is real." He concluded his message with a series of crying and laughing emojis. Nick Kerdiles didn't know whether to laugh or cry. It's a relatable reaction to a common situation in most people's lives. Shortly thereafter, he was back to the gym and the golf course, which he finds therapeutic. What are your thoughts on Nick Kerdiles' latest Instagram story? Do you struggle with insomnia? How do you deal with it? Sound off below in the comments section. Check back with TV shows Ace for more news on Nick Kerdiles. Savannah Chrisley's ex Nick Kerdiles struggles with insomnia. A deep dive into the mind of a sleepless soul. Insomnia is a struggle that many people face, but for former hockey player and ex-fiancé of Savannah Chrisley, Nick Kerdiles, the battle against sleepless nights has taken on a unique emotional and physical toll. Kerdiles, who gained fame as a professional athlete and through his high-profile relationship with Savannah, has opened up about his ongoing struggles with insomnia. In a world that often praises high achievers, the personal toll of such a mental and physical challenge can easily be overlooked. Kerdiles, however, has been candid about his fight, offering fans a raw glimpse into the struggles that often remain behind closed doors. The story of Nick Kerdiles and his insomnia is not just about a lack of sleep. It's a tale of mental health, personal vulnerability, and the harsh realities that accompany living under the public eye. The former NHL player, who once seemed to have everything, now faces a very personal battle that no amount of fame or fortune can solve. But through his openness, Kerdiles not only brings awareness to the seriousness of insomnia, but also challenges the stigma surrounding mental health issues. The beginning of the struggle. A glimpse into Nick's life before insomnia. Before the insomnia, Nick Kerdiles was living the kind of life many people dream of. He was playing professional hockey, a sport requiring both physical and mental strength. As a forward in the NHL and with the Winnipeg Jets, Kerdiles was at the top of his game, surrounded by success, accolades, and opportunities that many athletes would envy. His athletic career was marked by long hours on the ice, intense training, and constant travel, making sleep a precious commodity, but one he didn't often value until it became elusive. The transition from being an elite athlete to figuring out life after hockey was not as smooth as Kerdiles had hoped. Like many athletes, Kerdiles struggled with the identity crisis that often follows the end of a professional sports career. When his hockey career ended, he found himself at a crossroads, trying to figure out his next step. In addition to adjusting to a new life off the ice, Kerdiles was navigating Savannah Chrisley, which often placed him in the public eye, under constant scrutiny. While much of his life seemed perfect on the surface, the pressure of constant public attention, compounded by his professional transitions, began to take a toll on his mental health. The sleepless nights would soon follow, seemingly out of nowhere, and Nick Kerdiles' relationship with sleep would never be the same. The onset of insomnia. A silent struggle. The onset of Kerdiles' insomnia is a story that mirrors what many experience. Subtle at first, easy to dismiss, and then escalating over time. For Kerdiles, it began gradually. It wasn't a sudden, dramatic shift, but rather a quiet intrusion into his daily life. Initially, it was just occasional restless nights where he would toss and turn, unable to find a comfortable position. Then it became more frequent. Days turned into nights where sleep would evade him entirely, and he was left staring at the ceiling, trapped in his thoughts, feeling the weight of time moving slower with each passing hour. Insomnia is not just about the inability to sleep, it's the anxiety that accompanies it. The constant worry about when or if sleep will come begins to compound, creating a vicious cycle. And for someone like Kerdiles, who had a history of performance-based anxiety, the pressure to be okay while trying to function without adequate rest became unbearable. This struggle soon took a toll on his mental clarity, emotional stability, and physical health. What made this even more difficult for Kerdiles was the public nature of his life. As the ex-fiancée of reality TV star Savannah Chrisley and a figure in the public eye, there was a constant expectation to remain strong, happy, and composed. For many, the idea of a professional athlete or a public figure dealing with insomnia seemed unfathomable. After all, they were supposed to be the picture of health, discipline, and success. But in reality, insomnia doesn't discriminate. It affects the young, the successful, and the seemingly invincible just as much as anyone else. The silent battle. Opening up about the struggles, the days turned into months. Kerdiles found himself facing a very real battle. Despite his public persona, he felt deeply isolated. He couldn't share his struggle with those around him for fear of appearing weak. It's often easy for society to view athletes, celebrities, or even everyday people with public-facing roles as invulnerable to emotional or mental health challenges. However, the truth is far more complex, and Kerdiles was starting to feel the full weight of this truth. In his efforts to cope, Kerdiles began to take small steps toward confronting his insomnia. He openly discussed the issue on his social media platforms, offering followers a vulnerable and raw account of his sleepless nights. By opening up, he sought to break the silence that often surrounds mental health struggles. It was his way of both asking for help and encouraging others who were going through similar issues to reach out and seek support. One of the most powerful aspects of Kerdiles' decision to open up about his insomnia was the way it sparked conversations around the broader topic of mental health. Insomnia is often just a symptom of deeper mental health challenges, and Kerdiles' willingness to share his story created a safe space for others to talk about their struggles as well. Through his transparency, he made it clear that it was okay not to be okay, and that the road to healing began with acceptance. The effects of insomnia. More than just missing sleep. While insomnia may seem like just a sleep disorder, its effects are far-reaching and more damaging than one might initially think. For Kerdiles, the lack of sleep began to take a heavy toll on both his physical and emotional well-being. Sleep deprivation can affect everything from mood and cognitive function to immune system strength and physical performance. Without enough sleep, people can feel disoriented, irritable, and even depressed. For someone like Kerdiles, who was used to performing at his peak physically and mentally, the lack of sleep felt like a betrayal. His body, once a finely tuned machine, began to feel sluggish, and his mental clarity began to diminish. On the ice, Athletes rely heavily on their ability to think and react quickly, and Kerdiles' insomnia made him question his ability to ever be sharp again. The emotional toll of not being able to sleep compounded the frustration. The feelings of inadequacy, stress, and self-doubt crept in as the sleepless nights stacked up. Kerdiles' insomnia also strained his personal relationships. While he didn't speak in detail about how it affected his relationship with Savannah Chrisley, it's clear that insomnia is not just a solo struggle. When one partner is dealing with the emotional and physical toll of sleepless nights, it can create friction in any relationship. Communication becomes harder, patience runs thin.